All right, listen, friends and folks, I'm going to skip the proper spoiler warning this time because I don't know what on earth I would say. Um, it's the Spider-Man Japanese tokusatsu show, and then it's like Armored Core 1 through 3, more or less. Let's say Armored Core 1 through 4, because it's not any of the PS3 ones, but it's like PSP. And anyway, we talk about stuff from those. I don't think anyone will care, but just in case, please enjoy the episode. Hello, friends and folks, and welcome back to another episode of Mechanista and G. If you think about it, every episode is a listener request because the dice are always listening. I'm Six Detmar.
The dice don't... Wait.
Uh-huh. I'm waiting.
Just doing the math in my head for this, where I'm realizing what you said. Okay, yeah, no, I guess you're not wrong, but... Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I get what you meant now. I didn't get what you meant at first, and then now my brain understood. It took me aback because I had to logic out the idea of dice listening all the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well.
Okay.
We're gonna roll on the human listener request list this time.
Yeah.
Fish out a die here. Okay. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
I
I assume it's gonna be the usual. So, just waiting on you to link an image.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if the one I've got right here. It's like I would love higher resolution.
Right, this is a listener request, so
this
is probably something weird.
I might be asking for the moon and the stars. I understand sometimes that's just not how this goes. We could make... I guess we'll do this shot. I wanted to use the other one, but the resolution is just a little too poor for that to be feasible. It'll be fine once we're using the full body, but if I'm cutting it up into little snippets, it's like, well, this isn't doable.
Okay. Well, it's part of the fun, though, right?
Right, but I just have to, it's just like a blurry little block.
Box.
Is what I mean.
Yeah, I'm saying that. Is this a mecha or a ship?
This is a mecha.
Okay, I had to ask because, like, some of the design language there was like, well, that could be like the fuselage of a ship or something like hanging off.
Sure.
I have no clue. Something boxy and not very the kind of robots I usually am looking at.
So, you know what? Let's have some fun with this, right?
Okay.
We always love having fun around here.
Yeah.
I'm also going to give you the same body part from a different interpretation of this character. So,
okay.
I will give you that this... I mean, you can tell that the one I've shown you is a drawing, right?
Yeah.
This character was originally live action.
Oh. A live action mecha. Okay. Obviously, it's not red, so it's not Big Die X.
I don't know what that is.
Big Die X is from, give me 1 second, I'll show you a picture. Okay. I can't remember the Japanese name. I'm spacing on the name. But I know the English name in the West when it came out was Starfleet. And Starfleet is a Go Nagai Super Mario Nation styled show that is done with puppets. And this is the main robot of it.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, X-Bomber, right. That's the Japanese name, is X-Bomber. Brian May recorded an amazing version of the opening theme of the show, which is really funny. But anyway, yeah, no, I like Big Die X. They actually did a Motoroid of it relatively recently, so it's like one of those ones that, like, Terrace be damned, at some point I want to grab it, because, I mean, look at this guy.
That looks really cool.
He's a fun guy. Anyway, the funniest thing about the show is it doesn't reveal it's a mecha show in the first episode. It's just you see them deploy a ship, and it's supposed to be that the ship is the cool thing, like the cool weapon that everyone thinks is going to be the thing. And then these fucking Gonagai aliens just beat the shit out of the ship, but then the ship deploys its secret weapon, which is, of course, the robot within. Which is really fun.
I'm going to give you a third version.
Yeah, give me a third, sorry.
This is the toy.
Oh my god, is this a...
And then I'll update these in parallel as we get bigger.
Is this a tokusatsu thing? Or is this... Well, when I say tokusatsu, is this like a Go Ranger, or like, is this a Sentai Team 1?
It is not a Sentai Team 1.
Okay. Mostly I wanted to make sure, because I don't know any Sentai stuff, so I wanted to just make sure of that. Like, unless it's like the original, like, Zoo Ranger, one, that Megazord, I don't remember those, so just had to make sure. Okay.
It's entirely possible you have no shot here.
Is this, Shot in the Dark, is this Mecha Godzilla?
We've already done Mechagodzilla.
Oh, wait, we did Mecha Godzilla, right? Never mind. Okay.
Or did we? I know we talked about Mechagodzilla on the episode.
I think
with,
we did do Mecha Godzilla.
Mogra. Yeah, I think we did.
We've done.
I'm not sure actually. I don't think we did. I think.
I guess we didn't. Maybe we just have talked about it. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Huh. I think we talked about the comparison because in one of the films, Mogura is directly like the...
because we talked about Mogura, and then yes, I see what happened there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna get you bigger on every image.
All right, please, because this is difficult for me.
Yeah, no, this one's hard. I think this one's pretty hard.
Okay. I'm just like, oh no, there are going to be fans of this yelling at me. Oh, I already know what it is, just from the spider thing there, because this is... Oh, fuck. What is it called?
I'm afraid its names are nothing, sweetie.
Shush you. Fuck. It's got, like, a cat name! Leopardon.
Yes!
Okay.
Very good work.
Yeah, so the thing is, the web immediately made me realize it. So fun fact, I'm surprised I didn't get this earlier in a way, because when I was a small child, my uncle, for some fucking reason, because I don't even think he knows what a, I doubt he knew anything about this show, right? But he had a Leopardon toy that was, like, I'm trying to see if I can find the old one. It was covered in stickers, and the stickers were all peeled off, and I had no idea it was a Spider-Man thing until way later in my life. You know, it was just like...
why would you think it was a Spider-Man thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
But yeah, yeah, so, okay, it is for... That's... Okay, I can see why the tokusatsu thing also, like, threw you for...
You see why I had a weird answer to that question.
Yes, because, yes, it is a tokusatsu show. It's just not... It is not a Kamen Rider or a...
Super Sentai.
Yeah.
Or a Ultraman, or a Garo.
Yeah, who requested this, by the way? Just to make sure we give credit.
This is a listener request from Dalek on Twitter.
Okay. Alright, yeah, Leopardon. Leopardon? I don't know how it's pronounced.
I think probably... Since it was invented in Japan, I'm guessing it's probably Leopardon, right?
Yeah, like, I want to see if I can find... I was trying to look for the, to see if I could find the, like, the katakana for it, because that would help, but I cannot. Oh, wait, here we are. Leopardon. Yeah, so Leopardon, I think, would be... Leopardon would be probably
So,
closer.
What image should we work off of?
I would say we should work off of the soul of Chogokin.
Is this the original art?
That looks like it's probably the original art.
We could work off of this.
Yeah. But I will say, for looking at, like, angles and, like, equipment and whatnot,
Sure.
we'll probably just want to use the Soul Chogokin, just because that's, like, a relatively newer toy, and it comes with, like, a lot of the stuff for it, you know?
That's fair. That's fair. We can
I
use
just
both.
when we have to talk about like later stuff, obviously we'll use the art for now. So, Leopardon. This is a weird guy. Mostly because I don't understand why he exists. And now I know nothing about Spider-Man's Toku show at all. You know, I'm sure it's translated. It seems like something that should be translated. But like I don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But seemingly Spider-Man, the emissary of hell, has a robot. I can say that much. That much is for certain. You know?
Well, it's good that you're confident.
Yes. Okay, so to describe this robot, the head is... Oh, wait, actually, there's another form of this also that we should grab. I guess I'll grab the toy for this, because this is actually... I do know this because I've seen, like, when it gets deployed...
I know that it can transform, if that's what
well,
you're
it's
saying.
the other way
We'll talk about that
around.
separately.
It shows up as this first and then turns into the robot. But, yeah. Which does have a leopard head, I guess? So, whatever. Anyway.
So you're saying in order to turn into a proper robot, it leopards off.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Anyway. So, starting with the head, though, just of the mecha, just because that's the part that people care about. The head is a black head. It's kind of tall, just because it has, like, a bit of a samurai helmet thing going on, you know? Funnily enough, though, even though it's got a kind of fancy crest, like, just looking at it as a separate piece, it's very small and understated, relative to the size of, like, the head. It's got this, like, little V-fin kind of head crest, and that V-fin itself has, like, two horns then going inward, so almost, the two horns going inward almost meet in the middle. The head is mostly in black. You've got some red around the top of the eyes and some red on the cheek armor. The eyes are yellow, and there's red above the eyes, but not below, and there's a little bit of black between the eyes. It has a carved-in nose, and then maybe the most weird feature, which I don't know if it's meant to look like a spider web or something, but it has what appears to be like a screaming mouth, but it's like cracked open. But also it looks like it might be trying to do like the outline, like, like of a spider web, right? Like if you just
I feel like it's doing it's doing spider mandibles, right?
I guess it could be. That's so weird, though. It's such a weird face. This is always the weird thing. This thing is the face.
Let me point out something weird.
Yeah.
Spider-Man has a mecha.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, you know what? This is fair. Yeah, and
it's from space.
The faceplate is silver. But yeah, then moving on to the torso. The torso is it's basically got two sections to it. You have an upper pectoral section, and then you have a lower section that's like more like the waist, like right above the waist, like just like an abdominal section. The upper section is bulkier. Yeah.
Hey, do you know the story of Spider-Man Tokusatsu?
I know nothing about it.
So there's a guy named Garia. Let me picture. Here's Garia here, right?
Okay.
Garia's an alien from planet Spider, right?
Okay.
And planet Spider is being terrorized by Professor Monster.
Okay.
Here's Professor Monster. And so he is like the Professor Monster like kills everyone on his planet, and he's like, Garia is like, we're a peaceful planet, but you kill us all, I'm gonna get revenge. And so he tracks Professor Monster, and Professor Monster has run to Earth, but he fights and he gets, it doesn't go great, right? And so he looks for someone to pass the power of the spider to, and he finds a guy named Takuya, and he gives him the spider bracelet, and then he turns himself into a spider to be his mentor for a little while, and then he dies. And Spider-Man is, quote-unquote the emissary from hell, but really he's the emissary from planet Spider.
Okay.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Leopardon is Garia's ship.
Okay. That also has a robot form. Okay. That
Yes.
I mean, that makes sense. Them using Spider-Man is like because it's owned by Toei. You could replace this with any kind of Toku hero and it would work better. But I'm guessing they just had the rights to Spider-Man for some reason, and then like it feels like they attached the rights to Spider-Man to a separate like spec script or something, like that they were already
It
working
does
on.
seem like that, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, interesting. Uh, so to describe back to describing the robot, the upper torso, the pectoral area is a bit larger and bulkier than the lower abdomen. It has it's very blocky. You've got like almost like a treasure chest shape is maybe the best way I could describe it. Like it's a bit more
Mm.
rounded on top, but then like it's just kind of a flat box on the bottom. It does have like a little yellow section below that makes it not completely flat looking, but uh, and then around the edges of the chest going around the curve on top, you have some yellow stripes. There are some built-in vents in there. Then you've got a large like block in the middle of the chest that has a red window with a spider web uh, over it, like the upper half of a spider web. This also appears to have some kind of like I don't know anything about this. I don't know if these are Vulcans or something. It's got some kind of openings on either side. It could just be headlights. Who knows? Um, but anyway, you have some openings on the chest and some other details right below the little like block where the web is in the middle, and the actual block that the web window is on is mostly in silver, and it's a little it juts out of the black part for most of the upper body.
Mm-hmm.
For the lower abdomen, you've got mostly a silver body with a red upside down trapezoid in the middle of that. Um, the shoulders, simple block shoulders, just black squares with lots of little greebles on them. You get like these little squares near the base of the shoulder, or rectangles, I guess I should say, with like two little dots on the outside of there. The details are not always consistent from thing to thing. It looks like it looks like a lot of the art actually does have like the two on the shoulder. It's just funny because this vertical one's the only one that I'm seeing that has just the one square on the shoulder. But anyway, little vents, just little greeble details, right? Very simple, not really like functional details, just things for the sake of looking more mechanical, which is fine. Never have any problem with that. The biceps are large blocks that have a big opening in the elbow area where the forearm is connected into, so they've got like this it's almost like the arms have a cavity in them for the lower arms to be like inserted into. And the bicep again, mostly just little greeble details. The forearms are a lot more simple in detail. Just very simple silver like rectangles. You do get these little rectangular like panel lines on there, but that's about it. And then large black hands, very blocky fingers on this design. Though again, in most modern things, they just give them kind of your standard modern mecha fingers. Um, Moving on to the waist. The waist is mostly black with a piece like on the top of the crotch that's another like web emblem. It's like a gold wide emblem there, just with the image of a web. The parts that were throwing me off, the thighs, you've got these big silver blocks, and they have these little like kind of like little winglets almost sticking out of the side, and they have these little openings on built into the front of them because they're a little thick.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, again, mostly just panel line style detailing on the thighs. No visible joint really for the leg. And then you've just got these huge blocky calves. They also have these big yellow like web emblems on them, similar to the crotch one, but like taller, and the web is a bit more distorted due to that. And then the thing that I always remembered on the toys, because I believe these parts detached on the toy, so I always remember these, or they like push in or something. It's got these like weird like silver things on the sides that have like again just mostly panel lining style details, like a big black block on the top, some vent looking parts on the side and whatnot. That just stick out of the sides of the calves and give it a bit more of an interesting shape there. Finally, the feet, just very simple feet that are basically just big black blocks with some, like, areas that are... It's got, like, some kind of, like, toes, almost like tabby-like toes, or tabby-like toes, because it's got, like, the divide between them there, you know? But, it just, you know, like, two distinct toe parts is basically it. And yeah, it doesn't really have much of a visible backpack. I think in the show it probably just makes the leopard head disappear, but obviously in 3D space working with a toy and whatnot, you can't do that, so it just hangs out on the back as like a backpack.
Yeah, the leopard just is there.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, so that's, you know, that's Leopardon. It's a weird thing. It has a few, like, bits of handheld equipment that you can see, such as on the Chogokin there, you can see that it is holding a sword. Pretty simple sword, black hilt, little gold pommel guard on the bottom, or pommel thing. The hand guard is red, and then you've got a very small, thin blade coming out of that.
This is, of course, the sword Vigor. Despite what you might think, Leopardon does not swing this.
Oh, what does it do?
This is a thrown weapon only.
Oh.
I am just going to go out on a limb and say it's because the way the suit is built, it's not good for vigorous movement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that's why even things like the forearms are probably so much less detailed. I mean, you look at this thing on the left, this is designed to be more of a suit that fits a person in it. You know what I mean? Like, you can just tell when there's a Toku robot in art. They usually have really chunky legs like this because it's okay to make the suit a bit more bottom heavy. And then you usually get, like, you know, the very simple kind of design overall. Like,
sure.
This feels like you can imagine a person standing in this, you know?
What I mean is I suspect that the suit from the show was unwieldy and not
yeah, no,
suitable
I
for
agree
fight
there
scenes.
too. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Probably, I mean, you know, this is a show from also, what is it, the 70s? Yeah, 78. You know, making the, like, Toku suit technology for, like, the robots is probably, you know, it's a show made by Toei, but, like, it's the 70s. I don't know if, like, 70s, like, Sentai shows were also having, like, robots that have, like, you know, a lot of dexterity with weapons or whatever. I think they were usually, like, hand-to-hand, usually, just because that's easier to film. Like I said, it makes sense.
Pointing at some armaments real quick. This right here, arm rocket, aka it's got rocket punches.
Okay,
right?
That's cool.
This is the arc turn. It flies like a boomerang. It's a little head crest.
Yeah, I do know that there's, like, I think it's on... There's a part on this, on the Chogokin that lets it, like, extend out or something. Like, I think it just flies off the head, basically.
Mm-hmm. Sounds right. As you noted, right, here on the chest we got little nozzles. These are the Leopardon strings, which are just, you know, ropes that can fire. Its legs are the spider protectors that make an energy shield. And then we already talked about the sword. Those are its armaments.
Yeah. Oh, here's the one I think my uncle had. Just because this is the toy that looks like it. It is a Godaikin toy, which I've never heard of that company. Godaikin. Give me 1 second. I also, like, recognize, like, the style of the sword on this, so I'm pretty sure this was it. Come on. Let me zoom in, damn it, website. One of those websites where it's not letting me zoom in on the, preview images. Anyway, one other armament we should also mention, just because it'll come up, does have a large handheld shield that is in the same style as all those other gold web emblems that it can hold. So, does it say anything about, like, the way the strings work?
Nope.
Okay. I was curious what they were used for. Like, do they do web things? I don't know. Anyway.
It says a rope.
A rope. Okay.
I assume that's just based on the reality of the Toku show.
Bombs? Rope?
You want it, my friend? You got it.
Sorry, just when you said rope, my brain just keeps going, rope. Alright. Oh. Hold on.
Yeah?
I just need to reload the board. It is not
Okay.
letting me paste to it.
So obviously the flight form here called the Marveler, right?
I get it.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Because of how far it traveled to reach Earth, it can fly at the speed of light, but that's only in space.
I am pretty.
What a pal!
I am pretty sure this is like a toy like this or very similar to this. It had the chrome. Because the thing he had, like the collectible he had, was like chrome, on the limbs like this. It was missing the hands. I know it had like a silverish sword. So I'm 95% certain this is this, and like all the stickers were like torn off, basically, like just from age. So yeah. Anyway.
So it can fly at the speed of light in space. In atmosphere, how fast do you think it can go?
Well, if it can go the speed of light in space, given that you're distinguishing it, it clearly is not going the speed of light in the atmosphere. Let's say Mach 5.
In a way, you're like, you got one of the digits. It's Mach 15.
Okay. This giant fucking fortress just blasting around the Earth at high speeds.
Okay. It's funny because, like, this is just stupid, like, science brain. This is not me objecting. It's just funny to consider seriously for a moment. Something with these aerodynamics going Mach 15, it would just shred the world around it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? It's like, yeah, because that's 15 times faster than the speed of sound for those that don't know, like, how Mach is measured. So it is moving 15 times faster than the speed of sound, and is, like, a giant brick. And, I mean, this is a tall robot. Like, I've seen the pictures of the show. It is not like this is a small ship. This is not like a little hover car. So it would just be, it would be ripping through the fucking air. And you wouldn't even hear it coming because it is moving 15 times faster than any sound that it is making on approach. So...
Oh, it would be long gone by the time you heard it.
And then it would probably destroy your eardrums, given how fast it's going. Like, if it was flying low.
I mean, I am not a scientist of this stuff. At Mach 15, again, with how much air it's displacing and how violently it's displacing it, I bet it would destroy a lot more than your eardrums.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean,
bet
like,
it would destroy your house.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it would probably, like, cause very strong winds around it and whatnot. Yeah, no. Ridiculous. Okay, yeah, I love when Toei just gives bullshit stats. They do this in Kamen Rider also all the time. But yes.
It's very interesting. So currently the fastest aircraft in the world is, an experimental NASA unmanned thing that hit Mach 9.6.
Yeah, the
right?
X-43.
Uh-huh.
And it has like a fucking rocket booster on it and shit, looking at it.
It has a rocket booster on it, and then its surface is just covered in like stuff that like it gets so hot that like they have to like constantly like chemically treat the surface because it just like melts and peels off.
Well, yeah, no, that like ooh. Apparently, its first test also failed because it lost control 13 seconds after being released from the B-52 carrier. So,
it seems like it'd be hard to maintain control of that.
Yeah,
it feels like it would get out of signal range
and
really fast.
And that's the thing. This is only like it would have to move linearly. There's no way you can move it like you can't make it turn at that speed.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm also losing my mind at the fluid dynamics image of it, by the way. Sorry, just as an aside. Here's the fluid dynamics. This thing's just like a giant blade that cuts through the air.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Much like the Leopardon.
Yes, much like the Leopardon. No, the Leopardon's a mace that blunts through the air. But yes,
It's interesting because despite this thing's history, there aren't that many alternate versions of it, actually.
No, I don't. I'm assuming that in the show he only ever just uses the one robot.
Right, but like comics will reference this thing, but they just use the original design.
Well, I think the problem is when comics reference this thing, this thing is always kind of used as like, oh look, Japan is quirky about Spider-Man thing. Like, it is kind of the thing.
True.
Like they're
True.
not interested in making a cool robot. They are interested in either evoking it, maybe appreciatingly, or again, I've seen a lot of the, you know, very like, aha, we're Japan kind of thing with how it goes. Which, I mean, I get in a way, because doing a Spider-Man thing like this is weird. But it is funny, because just hearing the story of this, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's just like a Kamen Rider or something. It's just instead, it has Spider-Man in it, you know?
However, that doesn't mean there aren't related units.
Okay, there are. Okay.
I am trying.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I
Nendoroid
am
did
having.
one. That's funny.
Oh, that is fun. I am trying to source stuff. It's trickier than you would think, because because they're not built for this, right?
Look at the little
Marvel
Nendo.
wikis aren't. Oh, that's very cute.
It's actually like a jumbo Nendo, because that's like, you know, the Spider-Man's like the regular sized one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a big one. That's fun though.
It does really draw, like, I feel like it really like makes me feel more confident that that mouth is supposed to be like spider mandibles.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that's about it for like armaments, I think, real quick. So yeah, I'll let you go on with what you were saying. I'm trying to think though. I'm like, does it do anything else? I'm sure it probably just does things like per episode. Like maybe, I don't know. It's hard to know. Like on one hand, these little like things right here look like they would be missile tubes, but on the other hand, they're like pointing into its arm, so I doubt that they are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I can't find proper art of this shit, which is really frustrating. I will show this image really quick. This tiny, terrible image. In the Marvel Avengers Academy series, the Spider-Man makes a thing called the Spider Mech because he's inspired by anime. But as you can see, we can't really work off of this image.
No. I'm just trying to check something real quick. I'm like, is there an art book that Toei has ever put out for... Oh, no, there isn't, but there is. So there is a Katsushi Murakami art book, because I think he's the one who designed the mecha. Yes, he is. And so I have really big images of the just to throw for the video people real fast of the Leopardon with like notes and stuff. I mean, it's just a nicer, way better quality image than the one we had, you know.
Yeah.
Also, though, we have some other little spider vehicles, so I can mention these. And I knew about the car, because that little car down there does come with the thing. So Spider-Man also has a car. And I don't know if it, like, comes
I mean, most people have a car,
yes,
Dylan.
but look at the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Look at his little spider car. There he is with it. With that's the Chogokin's little Spider-Man in scale with it.
Aww. Try to hit.
Anyway.
Dylan got the hands we've mentioned this before, audio listeners, but if you move your mouse around too quickly on our whiteboard service, it thinks you're trying to high five someone, and I tried to come in for the high five, but Dylan's disappeared. It's very stupid that it does that.
You can see in the upper left also, and luckily the Chogokin comes with a full-size version of this. This is the little wrist thing for calling.
This is that's the spider bracelet. This is like Spider-Man's like main thing. It's also his web shooter. It's the only time they've ever made a spider bracelet toy.
Really? That just
Isn't
feels
that
so
wild?
toyetic. It is interesting though, because with this one it's a lot blockier. I'm wondering if it was blockier in the show, because you can see in the art here, like on this concept art, it's a lot more, well, it's round.
I mean, you can see,
I guess you can see it on
Spider-Man's.
his wrist,
yeah.
Let's see.
I think it looks a little better on his wrist, but also his wrist might be a little more, like
Okay, yeah, it's not quite as round in the... It's very... I mean, again, late 70s Toku, right? It is not, like, the most expensive-looking prop in general.
Yeah.
So it's not... you know, you can see it, like, here, too. Anyway. Alright, and that was the only design stuff that Katsushi Murakami did, was that. Now, he did work on a lot of other Toku shows. Seemingly.
That's cool.
So, I will download this book later. Anyway, sadly, I cannot find any other things though for relating to, you know, Spider-Man.
Yeah, if anyone wants to get me like proper source material for Spider-Mech, I'd be happy to do it in a cleanup or something. I'm not doing Penny Parker, and I'm not doing Iron Spider. I'm aware. I'm not doing them.
Okay, I don't know any of those.
You should know Penny Parker. That one. People got excited.
Oh wait, Penny was the one that was in the she was in Spider-Verse,
she's in Spider-Verse, and she's also in Marvel Rivals.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
She's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember her. It's been I watched Spider-Verse in theaters when it came out, of like way back, like 2020 when that came out, I think, or 2019? No, 2018. Oh my god. Right, because I saw it when I came out on vacation here. It was before I even moved out here. That was so long ago now. That's so fucked up. Anyway, I had forgotten her name. I don't know who Iron Spider is though.
Iron Spider is the one.
It's an
that
Iron
one
Man
got
suit,
into the
but for Spider. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for Civil War in the comics, and I think they did it again in the movies. I don't remember the movies as well because I only watched some of them. Iron Man was like, "Thanks for choosing my side in this Civil War, Spider-Man. Here's an Iron Man suit that's spidery for you."
Yeah.
I definitely didn't do anything fucked up to it, like install backdoors I could use because I'm an evil dickhead. Iron Man's a bad person.
All right.
I rolled again because we're just sitting here. That was not
that's
long.
Fair. Yeah, that was very short. So.
Interesting. I will probably need your help with this.
Okay.
But before that, you know, you're gonna have to. I can't use that image. There's no way you won't get it instantly with that image. There's too much of a giveaway. Let me try and find some different art.
What, does it say its name on its fucking knee, whatever it is?
I'm not going to tell you the answer. What are you doing right now? You think I'm going to say that?
I thought I was asking a question that didn't actually give anything
You thought you were talking to a friend right now? Fuck off.
I did not expect the aggression. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Alright, I'm okay.
Sure, we could do this one. This one should work. You should still get this, probably.
Okay.
Maybe not very first, but there you go.
Let me see. Oh, what? What the fuck?
Wouldn't it be, okay, have not done this, right? But wouldn't it be hilarious if one of these times I'd just, like, taken a snapshot from, like, Google Earth or something and was just fucking with you?
Well, like, clearly this is not that, right? This is, like...
Right, clearly.
This is something, some kind of leg with two, like, vertical straps on it. I just can't tell what the hell I'm looking at.
Okay.
I legitimately cannot. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna give you a little more.
Okay.
Usually I work upwards, but now we're working downwards.
Fascinating. Whatever I'm saying is fascinating, but...
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do I'm gonna be cute right now. Are you ready for another clue?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Okay, let me reframe this a little bit. Never done this style of clue before.
1997 to 2012.
2002.
Or 2002, sorry. This is like a CG render. I can tell that much.
It appears to be like some form of Zeta.
It's a leg. Wait, it's a Zeta?
I'm just being an asshole.
Oh, what the fuck?
But it just has the Zeta foot, that's all. Not quite as pointy.
Well, like, I'm like, is this gonna end up being like an armored core guy? This isn't Red Ball, or Nine Ball, is it?
This is Nine Ball. This is the
Okay.
Master of Arena version of Nine Ball. And I was just trying to, because if I picked in-game Nine Ball, you'd be like,
Yeah, no,
well,
that-
I
you know
can
what,
see
that-
the PS1 graphics.
I do completely get it. It's, okay. I hadn't really seen that, like, okay, that pre-render for Master of Arena I hadn't really seen. That's interesting, okay. Like, I've seen it, but, like, it's not what I think of, I guess, for Nine Ball. So, I mean, it was a good choice to pick it, in my opinion. You know, because I think
Thank
of, you know, compare that to, like, the model, alright? Like, just, like, the you know what it is? I think it's, like, that color, like, the way they make that,
It's
like...
a weird color.
Well,
Yeah.
it looks like it's all roughed up. It's all weathered, right? It's like... It is meant to be, like, probably, like, black for the legs, but then it's got all this, like, gray, like, clouding on it. And that's why at first I thought it was, like, a real leg with some belts on it, right? Because it almost looked cloth-like when I only saw that bit. It's just funny, right? Because it's just not the way these things tend to get, like, rendered, I guess.
Is it the version you have there that you just posted?
Oh, yeah, sorry. This...
Looks like it's the Nine Breaker model? Whoops, I accidentally pasted over it.
That might be the case. Yes, that is actually... Sorry, yes, it's the Nine Breaker version. Here, let me find... I guess Did they ever do figures of the old one? I'm looking. Hold on.
I'm not sure. I know we're just going to talk about, you know, any and all fucking Nine Balls.
There's quite a few nine balls to talk about, yeah.
All right, this is a request from listener Zooey on Twitter. Thank you for your request.
Yeah. I have a couple of Nine Balls I can actually grab. Give me one second.
I will. It could be Zoe or Zooey. I never know. Sometimes people say, I apologize if I fucked it up. I meant well.
Is it 2 O's?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I understand how one says that. Okay, so this one, well... Hold on. Yeah, here's the old Nine Ball. This is the Armored Core version, okay. This is the Kotobukiya kit. Still makes the colors a bit more, you know, flat, right? I guess they should have recognized.
Man, this thing's
part,
cool. The leg shape and everything does look very similar. This is such a cool design. I'm excited to talk about the Nine Ball. The Nine Ball rules.
Yeah. So give me 1 second. I also have the books, so I'm gonna grab those probably just so we have some art. And just leave that one up on the left for now, though.
And there's gonna be someday. Like for April Fools or something, you're gonna send a picture to me, and you'll have to send me the entire picture, and I still won't be able to guess shit.
God, should have made us do that for April Fools.
I'll be like, is that a Zaku?
Okay, here it is. Mechanical Guidance. This is the first generation book. I was just looking for the first gen book specifically, because I have one that I believe has the stuff from like Gen 3, but. That isn't helpful for us right now. Alright.
So let's see, going through it. It's in Armored Core, Master of Arena, To Another Age, Nexus, Ninebreaker, Last Raven, and Brave New World? What the fuck is Brave New World?
Is Brave New World the manga?
It seems to be just a novel that was published in pieces in a magazine.
Is it a light novel? Specifically, is it like the Dengeki one? Does it say?
It is the Dengeki one, so I guess it's a light novel.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I mean, I know the distinction doesn't really matter, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar.
I mean that's useful. The Armored Core wiki calls it a written novel, which is not
a novel that has been written, huh?
I mean, listen,
really?
You want an unwritten novel,
Holy
you come to me, I got
shit.
lots of those.
Holy fuck. A novel that was written?
It's
anyway.
created by a writer.
I was trying to find the in-game model from Gen 1, but funnily, this book doesn't actually have that.
I have that.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, share it then.
It's like sort of a 3/4 view here, but
Yeah.
there you go.
Right. Okay. So you know what? I can get I bet I can get a slightly clearer, better picture, real fast light. No, I don't have my save
You're just
imported. Fuck. Never mind.
You were gonna fire up your emulator.
I actually was. And then I realized, wait, I haven't set up these saves in DuckStation yet. They were still on my old emulator. Fuck. All right. Well, to talk about the parts, right? Because that's the thing about this that makes it a little awkward. These are like not parts exclusive in Armored Core 1 to 9-ball, right? Like, because
right.
Like, the head is used by Invincible, it's used by 9-ball. Project Phantasma, there's like 8 different guys that you use it or something. So it's like the head and whatnot is
HD X1487, yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess that's how we could kind of describe them, right? Like the parts. So, for the head, we've got, it's a small head, just kind of a simple design. It's got a little bar visor on it, rounded on the top. It's got like a little mohawk. It's not like a mohawk camera though. It's just kind of a jutting, like, probably has like a sensor or something built into it, you can imagine, but it's not like, it is something more that evokes shapes, which is obviously how this tends to work when you're looking at PS1 graphics, right? I'm sure Kawamori has art of these parts somewhere, but like, I don't think Kawamori made the 9-ball. He made all the individual parts, and then they made it for the video game.
Yeah.
Which is always like the thing. So yeah. Yeah, so simple head there, and 9-balls in particular is red on the upper half. He's got, like, sort of blackish on the lower half, like gray, more gray, honestly. Funnily enough, later incarnations make this, more brown instead of black or gray. Just difference in time, but, then, moving on, though, then for the arms there, for the torso, you've got this blocky core. It is the, the XCL01. And there's not very many core parts in the game. If I remember right, in Armored Core 1, there are only 3 torsos. So, this is the fast one, right? This is the light, speedy one, as opposed to the other 2, which are, a bit more AP. But this one's also, like, the most expensive in the game. Yeah, it is a, like, how to put it? It is still blocky like all the Gen 1 cores. It's got, like, a big piece in the middle that juts forward. This is the middle right here. And it juts forward, and, then on the underside, one of the cool things is, like, on the underside of the pectorals, you have these 2, like, little parts that extend forward that just kind of add, like, an interesting shape, these little blocks that are extending forward on either side. Pretty blocky torso, though. Mostly just has, like, little details that are, like, your usual, your usual kind of, like, greeble, panel lining. Then, I believe this chest doesn't have a built-in... Oh, no, it does have anti-missile. Okay, everything in the first game does have anti-missile. Okay, I had to check. So, the 2 lower parts are probably then, like, AMS for firing missiles, shooting down missiles.
Sure.
They usually represent it as, like, little machine guns in the chest. You'll see these on a lot of Armored Core designs. In Gen 1, it's just kind of a passive thing. But, yeah. By the way, I did in fact open the emulator and pull up my version of the picture. It's a little smoother, but also I have my, my filters, but I'm putting it there anyway. I don't know how to layer images in this.
I mean, you can leave it in the back.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, there's an arm on either side. Anyway, moving on to the arms then from there. The arms are also very lightweight. They have no real, like, shoulder armor separate. It's just the shoulders are kind of tall. So you got these very vertical arms, not really like, they're not like Ava arms, but you know, they're a little tall and they don't have like separated shoulder armor, so they just have this like unique appearance. Uh, then you just have some like vents on the outside of them. Moving on to like the elbows though, you have these really cool, I like the elbows a lot on this. It has this elbow armor that kind of like pops back behind like the joint.
Yeah, this is very,
Decently far. Very
elbow stuff. Very,
yeah.
very Kawamori.
Yeah, very Kawamori, very, I mean, armored core shaped, right? When you see something like this. And then, but yeah, and then just has 2 standard hands. Again, nothing really built into these arms, just because by the nature of how Armored Core works, these arms are, they are statted and they have their own functions, but they are not like, they're not, unless they are specifically weapon arms, it's not like you get like hidden weapons in the arms, the way you do in Gundam. Then moving on to the waist and legs. For the legs, kind of chunkier legs. I believe these are not like actually a lightweight pair of legs. These are the LN1001Bs. They are standard bipedal legs. They are not like, no fancy joints or anything to them.
Quick interesting detail here.
Uh-huh.
This isn't all Shoji Kawamori. It's funny that we specifically called out the arms as being very Kawamori.
Uh-huh.
Because that's true. Kawamori did the core and the arms.
Okay.
The other parts and assembling them to make 9-ball is Kaiichi Saito. Or Sato, excuse me.
Yeah.
Who is the lead graphics designer for Armored Core.
That makes sense. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing, right? Kawamori offered to do... This is always like the weird thing when it comes to credits on individual parts. When they thank a mecha designer in the credits, like the mecha designer is only listed as Kawamori, but that's because Mr. Sato is not necessarily the mecha designer. He is also, the graphic, like, he did all this other stuff, right? Story, level design, pixel art, etc. So it's like one of those things where it's like, nailing who actually designed everything is sometimes a bit more complex than it seems. And I'm glad you saw that, because yeah, this is actually a very good example of like,
It seems like there's actually the Armored Core wiki seems to have, at least for a couple of these games, very specific breakdowns. For example, it notes that in Armored Core 6, Kawamori specifically designed the IB-C03 and the IB-07.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Is like, especially with the modern games, having like all the art books and stuff really helps too. Like more complete art books, because like the problem with the older games, for instance, is I have an art book for Gen 1, right? But here's the way it's separated. It's not separated by the parts. It's separated by like the company and like the weight of the legs, and all the parts were drawn together. And then in the game, they were drawn out. Like, these are obviously, like, I believe these are... I don't know if these are all Kawamori, or if these are a mix of Kawamori and, I'm spacing on the other guy from Studio Nue that works on these. Because he also works on the games. But, the Nue guys, it's obviously, like, the Nue guys there for the art. But, that doesn't necessarily, help us when it's like, okay, all the mechs are made of individual parts. So it's hard to even sometimes just credit one artist for a mech in the game because of the nature of the game. You're mixing the mechs up, right? It's like if you were playing Gundam Breaker, you would have to credit everyone who made the individual parts of your mobile suit, not just say, oh, this is Okawara.
This is extremely funny because this is literally the conversation that led to us learning this. People were talking about this on Twitter, and Sato popped in.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And that's how we know, is he was like, oh yeah, no, let me break it down.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of other replies in this thread, but
yeah,
people were talking about, like, it's really hard to tell what Kawamori did and so, and Sato's like, oh, I can just tell you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's sometimes the beauty of Twitter and social media, right, is when you have production people who can just answer things like that just get brought up, and it is always nice when that happens. I am glad whoever keeps up on the Armored Core wiki actually has kept up with this and has sourced them. So, shoutouts to them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, for the legs, though, these legs are I think these are like a pretty standard set of legs. They are like they are basically a direct upgrade on the standard balanced like legs. The one of the starting like 2-leg sets that are in the shop at the beginning of the game. And yeah. So basically, the 9-ball pilot's kind of a lightweight little guy. It is not actually lightweight though, because when you consider all the equipment, it's more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is to say, so its equipment, you can see in the right hand, it has the WG XP 2000, which is a pulse rifle. Now, weirdly, his doesn't operate the way the player's does. This is like a quirk that comes up especially in Armored Core like 1, like the Gen 1 games. Enemies sometimes, they aren't actually built using the same parts as you. Like, they are clearly programmed separately as their own thing. Because his version in that game fires in 3-round bursts. Whereas the player version is just a rapid-fire one. Like a standard rapid-fire one.
It credits it as a 6-round burst on the wiki, I will say.
Or is it a 6-round burst normally? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, so it's 6-round burst normally, but his version is a 3-round version, I should say.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, if you look on the user section, you can see it mentioned as well. I'm trusting to believe in this wiki. But yeah. And then later games, it acts more like normal. Like in Master of Arena, when you fight just the base 9-ball, it acts like the player one. His pulse rifle... Okay, it says it's unique in that it fires in a rapid 6-shot burst on that page.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was looking at just the weapon page, not that one. Let me see if I misread the thing on that page. His version fired in a 3-round burst.
Uh-oh. Wiki, we trusted you.
I wonder if... Huh, I don't know. Weird. Anyway. Well, never mind.
Oh, okay. So, it's a 6-round burst in Armored Core. It's a 3-round burst in Master of Arena.
Okay.
Weird. And then it goes back to 6 for Armored Core 2 and Other Age.
That's really funny.
Alright.
Okay. I can see why this is causing confusion, to be fair, because, yeah.
Sure.
Which is to say, if this is normally a 3-round burst gun and he's firing it as a 6-round burst, then, yeah, that would fuck you up, which makes sense, because, to be fair, 9-ball will fuck you up in Armored Core 1. He also uses in his left arm usually a laser blade. Now, the laser blade is a bit interesting because while... So, it's been a little bit since I played AC1. If I remember right, in AC1, I don't think the blade actually shows up, like, on your arm. I can't remember if it actually shows up attached to your arm. And interestingly, this comes up because if you look at the, the design on the left, you can see there's no laser blade attached to that arm, right? You can see it's just the arm. And on the Kotobukiya kit, they do make the wrist pop open to do the blade, even though I think in-game you just swing your arm and a blade is coming out. Obviously, later gens tend to display a laser blade, like, attached to your arm in some way. But I think Gen 1, I don't think that's how that worked. It's been a little bit since I played the Gen 1 games.
I believe you're correct.
And then for the heavier weapons on him, he has 2 back weapons. On the right shoulder, very noticeably, he's got a folding cannon. I think this is, like, probably, like, one of the more iconic pieces of equipment from Armored Core, because even when people see folding cannons, they tend to go, oh, that's like an Armored Core weapon.
For sure.
And yeah, it's a folding grenade launcher. It is a long-range one that limits your sight lock quite a bit when you're using it as a player, but also, fires, like, forward, and it hurts. And to be fair, even in-game it is described as an AC symbolic weapon. So, it is considered a, like, very, a common good weapon. It is a big, solid grenade launcher, though. It does also have something weird. When fired with the fire control system lock-ons, its shots will actually detonate at the range in which the target was when it was fired. So when you're fighting aerial, enemies, like jets, even though they will have moved, it'll not just keep continuing and go past them, it'll explode in the air, and it is a decently sizable explosion, so it actually operates almost like an airburst gun, and that's actually really useful with, quick, zippy enemies, because if you locked onto them and it scooted, like, horizontally, and your grenade just traveled only forward and just missed, that wouldn't be very good, but it'll, wherever the enemy was, it'll explode at that point, which is kind of neat.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Fun, just fun, predictable, perhaps detail. They made novelizations
uh-huh.
of at least Armored Core 1, I think Armored Core 1 and 2. In that series called The Fake Illusions, they decide to make the 9-ball just the representative of Armored Core because it has the Moonlight and the Karasawa.
Oh, okay, yeah, just give it all of the things, okay. That's funny.
Just give it all the special, secret, hidden, iconic weapons, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and usually this cannon, in the first 2 games, it is the heaviest. There is a heavier weapon in Master of Arena, but in the first 2 games, in Project Phantasma and Armored Core 1, it is the heaviest. It also has retro rockets to reduce the recoil of its shots when it fires. I believe in game you can actually see this, like when it fires a shot, it'll actually, you start, like...
Oh, that's sick.
Well, it'll start firing, like, thrust out of the back. Yeah, so that it'll, like, even though it still stops you, you have to stop to shoot this, right? Like, you have to... Well, yeah. I say you do. It depends, though, because, 9-ball has a little thing called Human Plus, which is to say... Now, it's funny to say he has Human Plus, because he doesn't have Human Plus. He's a fucking robot. Spoiler alert. But, he operates like a pilot with Human Plus, which is to say, a person who has been operated on to pilot really good and has fucked up their body in order to do so. And in the original game, the way you get it is such a good secret, because it's like your standard old video game secret of being, like, sounding kind of fake with how it works. You have to basically go so far into debt that you basically get bought by Murakumo, and it starts over the game with you as a Human Plus person, and you have all these, like, extra functions. So, in the original Armored Core, you get things like enhanced booster performance, where your consumption of boost is halved. Your missile interception goes up, better radar. You can fire blades from the wave, or waves from your blade. Like, so any, like, sword can be used as, like, a long-range weapon, too, because you can fire, like, a slash. And then shoulder cannons can fire without kneeling. Which
cool.
is pretty busted, and, 9-ball has that going on, while also having the strongest grenade launcher in the game. You can see why he's a problem. Oh, and I guess I should say on his other shoulder, less important, just kind of a standard one. It's just the small missile launcher that fires 2 missiles that lock on. So, pretty standard one, actually.
Just something to keep you busy while it kills you with everything else he has.
Yes. Well, and not only that, but also when you fight him in Armored Core, you don't just fight him, you fight 2 of him. You can fight 1 of him in the arena, but if you fight him in the video game, you fight 2 of them at once. Because, as revealed, there's an AI called the Controller, who is actually the one in charge of everything. So, in Armored Core 1, you are mostly bumbling through a corporate war, either on the side of, you're with Raven's Nest, which is like an unaffiliated, group that, loans out ravens to companies, right? The idea is, we don't want corporations to have their own ravens, even though they do, but, the idea is, we want everyone to be independent, and instead, we will just let the companies spend money in order to buy a raven for a mission. Anyway, so yeah, you have Chrome, Murakumo, and then you also have guards who are like civilian guards, and they don't matter. They tend to just be fodder in missions. They get killed a lot, because it is a hell future in the game. Anyway, yeah, so there is a computer called the Controller, who, oh no, not the Controller in 1. What is it in 1? I can't remember the name. Well, anyway, there is an AI that runs Raven's Nest, and, basically the AI is, you know, okay with, like, everyone being at war because it wants everyone to stay underground and just because, you know, society lives underground. And it wants everyone to kind of
Uh-huh.
be under its thumb. You have gotten too strong. And there's actually a couple of missions that already kind of imply that the missions you are getting are actually, like, thinly veiled assassination attempts on you. And then the final mission is, oh no, someone has invaded Raven's Nest and, you know, deployed a bunch of mines. So we need you to destroy the mines. Uh, just blow them up as you find them, and you'll be paid very well. And as you start this mission, you immediately just start getting attacked by MTs and whatnot. And there are airborne stationary mines, but you start destroying them, and you're like, this is weird. And then at some point in the mission, you end up falling into a shaft, and there are 2 9-balls at the bottom.
See, I wasn't very good at this game. I did not get this far.
And yeah, there are 2 9-balls and several MTs in the room, and they try to murder you. You can actually just leave them, which is the funny thing. This is actually probably the easier way to play the game, is to just run past them and just keep going. Until you eventually get to, like, the AI core and you can destroy it. And then you find out, though, that what 9-ball is not a person. Hustler 1 is simply an advanced combat AI that is kept at the top on purpose, basically to keep everyone else in line is the idea, right? Like, oh, you know, not only is he the strongest guy that everyone looks up to and thinks is really cool, but also it's actually, you know, this AI secret, like, guy who is there. So yeah, so that's, like, the twist with 9-ball. And 9-ball's kind of, like, I guess you could think of him as, like, a de facto final boss for that, for having, like, the 2 forms of him that you have to fight at the end. Which, like I said, quite strong. It's difficult. I mean, you know, Gen 1 Armored Core, kind of a hard game. As you might be able to attest to, since you mentioned playing it.
Yeah. Yeah, not easy.
But yeah. Yeah, basically, also, the Raven's Nest, you know, that means that the Raven's Nest is kind of compromised, right? Like, inherently. So that's just kind of funny that it's like, oh, no, we're the independent ones who are separate from everyone, and actually, you know, the turbo evil ones. Moving on, though, so in Master of Arena, the story's a little different. It's still the same, actually, in that the 9-ball's actually an AI, but basically, you're playing as a person whose family was killed by 9-ball. Your name is Annihilator, or just the Raven. This character actually comes up again because I believe the implication is there's a character from Armored Core 2 that is kind of implied to be the same character. I can't remember if that's how that works. It's been a while. Anyway, so yeah, you want to defeat Hustler 1, who is 9-ball, and yeah. But basically, at the end of Master of Arena, though, you have to dismantle Raven's Nest again, right? Because, again, you find out, oh, fuck, it's compromised. And instead of being in an AC, he appears in a unique machine. It's not actually an AC, it is the 9-ball Seraph. Let me pull up the art of this guy.
Oh, just to follow up on what you were saying about the protagonist of Master of Arena, the person who beats 9-ball is called the Nine Breaker, and the antagonist of 2 is a AC pilot who goes by Nine Breaker.
Right,
that's
yeah.
why.
And it's called Nine Breaker because he's so secure in the arena for so long that the idea that someone would beat him is kind of ridiculous. So they basically, it's kind of like, you know, how they call you Wall Climber in AC6, because it's just like, oh damn, someone actually did the thing that we didn't think was possible. Same thing there, right? They call you they call him the Nine Breaker after after he beats 9-ball, because it's like, oh shit, you did something that's impossible. Anyway, so yeah, this is the 9-ball Seraph, which is the final boss of Master of Arena. Again, still used by an AI. It's not actually a piloted machine. And 9-ball Seraph is fucking cool. It is not, like I said, it is not actually a It's a weird one because it's not actually like an AC. It is a unique robot. Like you cannot get any of the parts of it.
What makes it not an AC?
Well, I technically speaking, the only thing that makes it not an AC, in my opinion, is just the fact that it is something that is unobtainable by the player.
I mean, a car you can't buy is still a car.
This is fair. It also transforms, which no other AC does, but I guess it can also just be seen as a very advanced AC, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, if there's like some like thing like, you know, the AC versus MT distinction.
No,
right?
not in this
But if there
case.
isn't,
It is
then,
not. Yeah.
Then
No.
I'm gonna call it an AC then.
Yeah. That's fair. I do think that's fair. So yeah, 9-ball Seraph is a completely unique machine, though. As you can see there, it's got a head that is similar in shape with, like, you know, having a scanny eye. However, it's way more complex. You've got these little, like, cheek vents on there, and he gets this really tall, like, forehead antenna. Just like a big commander antenna there in the middle. So that's fun. The torso is, again, it is actually designed to look a little similar to the original torso, where it is like a lightweight, blocky torso, and you can see it's got the little underparts underneath the pectorals there, kind of like the original torso that 9-ball used. Though it has a very thin connection going into the waist, mostly because it needs to fold over for the transformation. So it's got like a very thin, like, strut-like connection thing going on there. The shoulders, again, quite tall shoulders that have, I believe they have a weapon on the top of them. I'm trying to see. Its arms contain both machine guns and rapid-fire laser cannons, which are pulse lasers in Armored Core 2 Another Age, because laser cannons don't exist in Another Age, so they had to change it. And it also has a moonlight-colored, like, light blue laser blade in each arm that can fire a wave. And those laser blades also have they do 20,000 base damage before taking off all of your things. In a game where I believe the maximum health is still 9,999, so, you know, don't get hit.
So, yeah, okay.
I mean, you know, the subtraction is like, I believe, like, you know, you can have like 8,000 defense or something like that, but still.
You can have lots of damage reduction.
Yeah,
but huh.
It can also use them in quick succession. It can combo with its blade arms, yeah. And then, of course, it can, when it, instead of, like, having overboost, it just transforms into, like, a jet mode, like a flight form there. You can see it just kind of folds its whole body back, the head tucks down, the antenna pops down, and then the body just kind of tucks back, and it can just, like, it has the flight mode.
It's kind of inelegant, but since it seems it's, like, purely for the purposes of, like, closing distance, heading from one battlefield to the next, it seems fine.
Yeah. Finally, it also has the 2 wings on the back. They have lots of thrusters in them, obviously. You can see them on the bottom there and whatnot. But also, on the top, it has missile. It can fire, like, homing missiles from them.
Like vertical ones, right?
Yeah, vertical homing missiles, yeah.
I love vertical missiles.
Yep, that's fair. They are cool. So yeah, basically this is just like a souped up badass AC that is fought as a final boss again. It's pretty cool. I mean, everyone likes this design, right? This is a design that is, like, popular among fans of the series.
Yeah. That's sick.
It's really fun too because it has an interesting thing where it starts saying its name, it starts, like, you know, talking to you and trying to, I believe it starts talking to you specifically with your mission handler's voice, and then the voice changes as, like, this conversation goes on, while the 9-ball Seraph is deploying, which is fucking cool. Just, like, the voice, like, fading from one character's into another's, because it turns out your mission handler, much like in original Armored Core, your mission handler in Master of Arena was actually, you know, in on everything and was trying to get you killed.
Sure.
But yeah. And then 9-ball Seraph is also kind of a recurring guy because, as mentioned, it shows up in To Another Age. Armored Core 2 Another Age is kind of a weird game because it doesn't really have much of its own storyline. And like it does, but it doesn't. It's not as story-centric as Armored Core 2. However, it has a shit ton of missions, and a bunch of the bonus missions in the post-game are fighting like old bosses, because I believe Stinger, who is a character from Project Phantasma, comes up, right? And so one of the old bosses you can fight is Nineball Seraph, which is cool.
So this is this over here is the Another Age render of that machine.
Yep. It's a cool machine. So the next part on the wiki is a highly controversial part, and you probably can tell why, right?
I would vote we don't cover this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool machine. The prototype pulverizer is cool, but it is not actually a 9-ball.
Right. There's a machine, an AI piloted machine that fights you. That in the Japanese is just called Unknown, basically. And when it got localized, the localizers were like, well, let's call it 9-ball. People like 9-ball. It's like, which is like, come on, you guys.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's an important thing. Oh, real quick, because I do have some pictures of it real quick from original game. I'm just going to post those real fast. So, legs, because the way it zooms in on it is, you get all the various camera angles. Higher up on the torso there. Then here's the head. Also still has the 9-ball emblem, right? It has you can see it on the shoulder there. A 9-ball. Target.
I like it. I like how it looks in Master of Arena more than in 2. That looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. Also in the final cutscene, just because I mentioned it has a glowy visor, it doesn't come up in the in-game screenshots really. But you can see it here. You can see it's got a red line going around the face, which is really cool looking. Then kind of a blurry screenshot because, to be fair, it's a very dark CGI scene. But here you go. There it is dying at the end because it has a cutscene where it starts breaking apart when you beat it.
Sure.
But yeah, it is really cool. I do like the 9-ball Seraph a lot. Anyway, neat machine. Also has a model kit from Kotobukiya, which is rad. I do want to get that at some point. Probably when it is cheaper to import things, though.
The next actual 9-ball is the design from Ninebreaker and Last Raven. It's the same design, and it's the one you posted the figure of initially.
Yes, yeah.
It's also known as the Baby's Breath, I'm told.
Yeah. So this one is interesting, right? Because Ninebreaker is a game about, okay, so Armored Core games. The first 2 games are in the same universe. The third games are all, kind of a reboot universe. Which is why, I started... when I said the controller, that's actually the plot of Armored Core 3, but it is essentially the same plot as Armored Core 1 again, where it is 2 companies fighting and Raven's Nest is actually controlled by a secret AI. It's just different names between the 2 games. It's just an unknown AI in the first game. It is not, explained. And then in the third series, it's the controller. One of those things. And, in the third generation, though, even though in the early third-gen games it's pretty much its own thing, repeats some story beats, but, has overall its own story going on. One of the weird games, and this is a game that a lot of people do not like, is Ninebreaker. Ninebreaker is a weird game because the whole game is about participating in the arena to eventually beat 9-ball. There's no storyline-based missions, and you only do training missions and then the arena. I do not really like this. A lot of people don't. It is just not necessarily what I like with an Armored Core game. So it is it is not one I super like.
It's not that what's there is bad, it's just that it doesn't have one of the main appeals.
I mean, it doesn't have... Yeah, it doesn't... It just... if you play it, it plays fine, right? It's still on the same engine as, Nexus, which is a game I really like, personally. I know some people don't like Armored Core Nexus either. I like Nexus. But, it's only arena battles and then these, sort of training missions, which is not what I am into. However, it does introduce a new armored core design, including having some updated parts. These parts are, I believe, mostly they are. Some of them are not original to Armored Core 9breaker, and some of them are. Specifically, the legs and the head are meant to look like the Gen 1 9-ball. The torso and the arms are very different, though. So, like, the head is new to the game 9breaker, right? But you can look at that head, and you can see, like, it's got the little offset mohawk on the back, it's got the visor eyes, though it has 2 of them now, which is neat. But, like, just the style of the head is very similar to the original, head. And then, do you have a... Yeah, you can see it there. That's actually a good screenshot.
Thank you. I took it myself.
Shush you. Here, real quick, actually, just to also have a side-by-side because Dalong compares the models. You can see the original Armored Core 1 on the right, and then the 9breaker on the left. So, the torso is obviously very different. This torso is a much more standard AC torso, complete with, having a jutting part in the forward middle of it, and having, like, one of the external anti-missile machine guns just, like, located in the center of the torso there. But much more standard of a torso design. The arms do have tall shoulders, but again, these arms are not actually, like, these are arms that already existed in the 3rd gen games, much like the chest. So it's just kind of using these arms to approximate the 9-ball arms. And I mean, they serve a similar role, right? They are lightweight, arms. They look nice. However, then moving on, the legs, you can see the legs are a new pair of legs, and the thing that makes these, like, a very obvious homage is the stripes, right? Like, just making sure to keep those stripes so you can do that same color scheme is, like, the thing that really makes the legs stand out. And these legs are, they, compared to the Armored Core 1 legs, they are a lot more detailed. The thighs are a little smaller, but they have a lot of armor at the top of them. The lower legs, you have some bigger thrusters on the side of them, and then the armor around the feet, like the ankle armor is bigger, and the feet are a bit more detailed. Kind of one of the things is, this is a late stage PS2 game versus a relatively middle stage PS1 game also, right? So that affects the designs you kind of want to make. Like, not that they don't have detailed drawings for the Gen 1 games, but just in comparison, the overall shapes, you can tell that, like, they are more willing to make something more complex, right? Versus when something is, like, texture detail, but also simple in its polygonal shape. I just think that's interesting. Anyway, so this version of it, has, like all Armored Cores, it has 4 weapons. So it has, for its right arm, a linear rifle. So instead of a pulse rifle, it is using a linear rifle. 9-ball's version in 9breaker has a triple shot burst, which is fucked up on a linear rifle, because this is like, but they did make sure to give him the fucking, the thing. Now this, funnily enough, this part was actually introduced in, Nexus, not in 9breaker, so it is not, given that it's a linear rifle also, it's not really supposed to be, for 9-ball, but I do like that when they decided to give 9-ball this gun, they were like, okay, we also have to make it a triple shot burst weapon. This weapon is also designed to have kind of a similar silhouette to the original Kurosawa.
Unfortunately, I don't have good screenshots of that. It's all just menus of stats.
Yeah. It was also intended to actually be a solid version of the Kurosawa rifle line, according to the wiki, which kind of makes sense. Also, the Japanese fandom has apparently named it Captain Linear, complete with having the kanji and katakana there for it. Because it was used as Evangel's signature weapon in Armored Core Nexus and Last Raven. I am glad that they gave the weapon a nickname. That's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, the left arm is a laser blade. It is just the standard default laser blade. which is kind of appropriate given that that's the one he uses in Armored Core 1, right? It's just like the default laser blade. It's just he can also fire a fucking wave out of it because nine balls special. Then on the its back unit, the right shoulder, it has the grenade launcher. It is a folding grenade launcher that was introduced in Nexus and very much maps to the same kind of weapon that he had in Armored Core 1. And then the left shoulder is the Mandragora, which instead of being a 2 missile launcher, it is a 5 missile launcher.
Sure.
So locks on and fires 5 missiles. And yeah, don't really need to get into the generator and radiator and all that. Now, an interesting feature is the core there is an Exceed Orbit core. And what that means is if you look on the back of it, there are 2 types of cores in the 3rd gen games. There are Exceed Orbits and Overboost cores. Overboost is what it says. It lets you do it'll open up the back and do an extra thruster or something. Exceed Orbit cores have what is called an Exceed Orbit, which is a bit, essentially. And in this case, it is a solid machine gun that pops up off of the back. Basically, that little thing on the back of the torso there is like a little drone that floats above you and fires solid shells.
Oh.
So, just one extra weapon to throw on for him.
God, that's a really hard trade. I guess making me choose between Overboost and funnels is really...
Well, you have to think about it this way too, though, right? In the old gen games, Overboost is Overboost has very specific use cases, I feel like.
It's true. It's
when you're playing,
it's my favorite, I'm thinking 4.
Yeah, when you're thinking 4 and 6, both of those games, you tend to do the big overboosts a lot in those games. However, in these games, especially indoor missions, there are missions where it's actually not very useful to use the overboost unless you want to fly into a wall and, take forever to turn around.
Fair.
But yeah, so, lightweight biped with heavy weapons. Kind of the same deal that is going on in the first game. There is 2 versions of this, because in Last Raven, which is the last of the games, of the 3rd generation games, there's a character called Code Crimson, in the VR arena, who uses, this is where the Baby's Breath name comes in. He essentially is a guy who is basically a wannabe 9-ball. His arena thing just is very bare bones, it just mentions what he does, but his design is clearly supposed to evoke 9-ball. He just changes out the boosters, basically, is the only part I think he changes out. Yeah, it's apparently, it doesn't have the special abilities from Ninebreaker either, which is funny. He mostly flies about firing the micro-missile salvos or bombarding you with a linear rifle, and then it'll also have the Exceed Orbit floating around shooting you. It'll never use the grenade launcher, other funny quirk.
Interesting.
Yeah, even though it has it. But yeah, so anyway, Code Crimson and whatnot is more of a reference to 9-ball than being a 9-ball himself. But yeah. And that's it, really, for the main series. However, there is a game called Another Century's Episode R, which is a crossover mecha game by From Software. And they decided, as the final boss of this game, to add a special customized version of the 9-ball Seraph. It is essentially a similar design to the original, but it adds these extra thrusters on the arms, on the shoulders there, so it gives it this broader silhouette, which actually looks pretty cool. But otherwise, doesn't really mess with perfection, right? Is the thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, it is, I believe, is it the final boss? Oh, second to last boss. Piloted by a guy named Winter One. It is just, it is one of those things where it is strong. It is the most powerful mecha in the game, or one of the most powerful. And even its special extra mission, and you can only use it in this one extra mission, is an extra mission where you have to destroy 1,000 enemies with no allies. I will say the core on this is changed in design a little bit more than the original Seraph. It resembles the Alia core from Gen 4, which makes sense considering this is a PS3 game. So, incorporating a little bit of future armored core design to it. You can see the Alia core here. It doesn't have the same, like, circular, like, radar pieces, but look at the coloring and the shape. It's evoking that, for sure.
You can see the influence, for sure.
Yeah.
Is this a strategy game?
No, it's an action game.
It's an action game?
Yeah, the Another Centuries episode series. You never heard of these?
I've heard of them. I always thought they were strategy games.
Nope, they're From Software games. They're all action games. The first game is not very good. It is very rough around the edges. The second and third games are pretty good, in my opinion. I played both of them for the PS2. And then Another Centuries Episode R, unfortunately, has problems. First of all, they made it really annoying to unlock things. And also, so let me find it real quick. Ace R, because I need to see how many times do you have to beat the game to unlock everything. So, first of all, playing through the game is annoying because whenever you do a Macross mission and they have licensed music, you cannot skip cutscenes. You are going to listen to the song and watch the cutscene. And to eventually unlock all the characters, you have to play through the game a total of 12 times.
Jesus. Alright.
And they also changed it so instead of weapons working off ammo, you have like a morale gauge that builds up, and then things all spend off of this one gauge. And in my opinion, it's a little needlessly, like... I understand why they wanted to do that, but I think it was more fun when you just played, like, I don't know, Another Centuries Episode 3, and the weapons just had ammo, and you could use a weapon until it ran out of ammo, in which case it would then need to recharge until it ran, like, reloaded. In this game, you instead have, like, a weird meter that you have to spend in order to use all your special attacks. So, and the unlockable units include, so you have to beat the game. If you want to play as the High-Nu Gundam, you need to play through the game 10 times to get the High-Nu and the Crossbone X1. To get the X1 full cloth, you need to play the game 12 times.
Why are you like this?
What?
Not you, obviously.
Yeah, no, this game.
No, not you.
This game also has the fucking Zan in it, which means I do want to play through it at some point, but I would need to play through it 8 times. The Zan is a cool unit from King Gainer, that is not in the show, but is in, like, they made a figure of it, and it pops up in other things, and it's just, check out what this guy looks like, because you know the King Gainer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Check out this version.
Oh, that's a cool look.
Has the, like, the hair wires tied upward instead, and they just kind of flow off the back. Has a giant fucking fuck-off katana. And is like dark blue armor. It looks really cool. It's a cool design. I'm glad they put it in the game. Unfortunately, they put it in the worst one of these. But 2 and 3 are great. 3 is weird because 3... The game is known for being like mostly real robot focused, quote unquote. Like, you know, we've talked about this distinction and how it's fake, but, you know. It is mostly like Gundam, Macross, things of that nature. And then the third Another Centuries Episode game added like King Gainer and G Gundam and shit, which was wild. And everything in the game is scaled correctly, so when you're playing as, like, the Shin Getter in it, you are huge compared to the enemies, and it's great. Anyway, because From Software made these games, they decided to make it so the second to last boss was, you know, one of their guys.
Sure.
Here's a screenshot that might be able to give you a hint of the size. Of what I'm talking about, by the way, just because we brought it up. There's me playing as the Getter, and there is a Daughters being hit by the Getter Tomahawk there. And you can see that Daughters looks very small.
Yeah.
Because it is very small.
I feel like I would get in trouble from mecha people for this, but I would just cheat the sizes.
Because here's the thing, though. It also means this game is like one of the few games I've played where when you use the getter beam, the way it works is you can see, sadly GIFs don't work here, but you see how it starts from the right? It runs from right to left, and the game does in fact just do the spherical explosions on all the enemies it hits and kills. So it's one of the few games where I've had the anime experience of firing the big beam and watching spherical explosions in the distance, and it's fucking cool. Anyway, good set of games. I'm just sad that the last one's sadly not very good. Technically, I say the last one. There's also one on the PSP, which is better, but it's a PSP game. You know, and it's just not as much content and whatnot as the PS2 games overall. Plus, I don't like the series list quite as much. But anyway, that's it. That's it for Nine Balls, though. You know, kind of extended this episode out quite a bit, but whatever. Look, it's better than having only one 30-minute episode, right?
You keep saying, sometimes you do this where you're like, I'm sorry, we talked about more stuff and did more of your requests. It's like,
I'm saying I'm sorry to you.
Oh.
Because I mean,
I'm the one who said,
you're the one who has to edit it all and do all the work. I always feel bad because I'm always like, oh no, I'm making 6 have so much more work.
I mean, you know, I to a certain degree, I mean, to a lot of degrees, I do this to myself, especially when I was the one who's like, let's roll again. That was short. That was fun.
Yeah, no, it was fun though. And hey, it's 9 Ball.
And also, unlike other podcasts I edit, where, again, still my fault, I'm not like, hey, in this show, it's this voice actor. Let me drop in clips from 6 other animes so you can compare the range of their voice performances.
God.
That takes time.
Anyway, seeing all 3 9 Balls here, all of them are great. I think they're all good designs. You know? I mean, I like
the Baby's Breath the best.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I like the Seraph the best because it's fucking weird, but, you know.
The Seraph's really cool. I think this sort of speaks to our different sensibilities, right?
Yeah, no.
I like sleek but grounded.
And I like sleek and over-designed. I was thinking about this earlier because, you know, sometimes I'll mention, you know, like, oh, sometimes I like playing as grunts, but my idea of a grunt is always weird. My idea of a grunt is I like playing as the Hazel and then having all of its different packs in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas people are like, I just want to play as a Zaku, just the shitty Zaku. And I'm like, well, I don't want to play as a shitty Zaku, I want to play as a high mobility Zaku. And this is why people probably roll their eyes at me, which is fine.
I like playing as a high mobility Zaku. I don't want to play as a Saikamu Zaku.
Oh no! The Saikamu high mobility test type Zaku though.
I mean, I was trying to draw like a conceptual distinction. In reality, I think that machine's sick. But like,
I was gonna say, wait, I thought you liked that one. Yeah, I was like, wait, we've talked about this one.
I would say just as a broadly conceptual thing, yeah, I like Ace Customs as more, but not as much Special Boy machines.
This is fair. Well, I mean, that's the appeal of like things like the Saikomi Zaku and other like MSV things, right? Like, I know some people will look at those and still think of them as like, you know, Special Boy. Oh, someone's just making a cool machine for a cool person. The funny thing though is actually we don't know who fucking pilots these things, right? Yeah. Half the time. Like the Saikomi Zaku in Gundam. Let's see. What do we have for listed pilots of the Saikomi Zaku? Billy Hickam, Ashley Horn, and Pesh Montan. And, you know, Pesh pilots it, so it can't be that bad. And then, hey, Ashley is also from UC Engage, and then Billy Hickam is from Thunderbolt. There's no other pilots anyone cares about. It's not like a Special Boy machine. It's just, hey, what if there was a cool... It is a machine that is special, that is not tied to making someone cool by them piloting it. It is just, hey, what if there was a cool test type machine? Which I guess also, this is the other thing that differentiates some people, though, right? When people think of mechs as the thing being attached to the character and whatnot, I get why, like, this would do nothing for them. I see it and I go, fuck yeah. That's a Zaku that has thrusters for legs and it's got wire-guided hands. And I don't give a shit that it doesn't have a pilot that doesn't matter and it doesn't do anything that matters in the war. That's just cool to me, that it's a fucking cool prototype machine. If
you don't like seeing someone different pilot a machine, if you're like, wait, I don't want to see 2 different people piloting the same machine, this is not an insult, you may have a case of super robot brain.
I mean, this is ultimately the thing, and to be fair, sometimes I know people who got into real robot anime because they thought they wanted the grounded thing, and then they finally watch Mazinger or something, and they're like, "Oh fuck, that's what I wanted," which is fair.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
I like my weird robots though. I am ultimately, even though I am also like a themes and story person, that is separate from the part of me that also like builds mecha and like customizes mecha and whatnot. Like these are not like two interacting sides of me, right? Like these are
Yeah.
two different things basically, and they kind of have to
Totally.
be
Totally.
because if I only like things that came from good shows, then there wouldn't be very many. It'd be slim pickings out there. It's true. It's like rude to say, but it's kind of true.
I'm not arguing. It's funny.
Like it is sad that like there is like shows are a culmination of like 20 people working on them. Unfortunately, not everything that Okawara works on is good, or not everything that fucking Shoji Kawamori works on is good, or
And,
any number of people.
Not everything they make is good.
Yeah.
And, I think the vast majority of it is, but even, like, not just they work on shows that don't turn out great, sometimes I think their designs whiff. It happens.
This is every artist, right? Not
good.
every artist is...
Right.
You're not going to necessarily like every single piece of art from from an artist. Mm-hmm. Generally, if you have a favorite artist, you generally have your favorite pieces by them, right?
Right.
But it doesn't mean you think everything is good. Or maybe you do, but I feel like, generally speaking, most people do not. Or you get people like me who, even if I don't like a design, I can sometimes see what they're going for, so I'm sympathetic. Even though in reality, I'm like, well, I don't really like this that much. Hell, that's happened to me. That happened to me with fucking Crossbone. Like, what is the word? I got Stockholm Syndrome doing this show into, like, Crossbone designs where I'm like, well, it's really stupid and I hate it, but also it's kind of funny because... And I'm like, I hate that I'm like this. I used to just dismiss it all out of hand.
It used to be we could just look at the clown robot and be like, fuck this, and then move on.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing, right? But I mean, I think that kind of applies to anything you get really into as well, right? Like... It's like sometimes, like, if I read about if there is a really bad film, right? Like, this applies more with like older films that are actually like bad and like were not put together well, but have interesting backstories behind them. Sometimes learning about the production process makes you a bit more like, I don't want to say it's like you suddenly like it more, but it makes you more interested in things. I don't know. It's weird, right? There's just this like weirdness to like examining the creation of a work as opposed to just examining the work.
Sure.
And yeah, it's just weird. Anyway, that's our little end of the episode ramble. Hey, Six, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Sixdettmar, SIXDETTMAR. That's where you can get some listener requests in if you want. You can DM me and let me know what you would like us to cover here on the show. You can also find my work at scanlinemedia.com or patreon.com/scanlinemedia. And if you want to talk about stuff, you should go to the Scanline Media Discord. We're hanging out there. We have some channels. We have a channel for Mechanista G.
Yeah, check it more.
You can, you can chat with us about mecha stuff.
Yeah.
Dylan, what about you?
You can find me on Busky at Low Poly Robot, and and just posting there. Posted some models there recently. Haven't been doing as much game-wise. I was playing a lot of Monster Hunter, like the old gens, like really old. Because I was playing DOS specifically. And then I got into playing 3 Ultimate, but I've been playing that on the 3DS is the thing. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I could keep stopping my gameplay in a way and like freezing the screen in order to take pictures, but that's hard. Needed a small break from... Oh, wait, no! I say that, and then I think about it. Oh, wait, no, I was still playing SMT4 yesterday also. So never mind.
Huh.
SMT4 is fucking cool. I didn't realize what it... Like, I didn't know what the setting of it was before playing it. I just kind of assumed, like, all... Like, given the character designs and stuff, I assumed it was going to take place in the modern day, like, in a normal way, and... just be like, oh, is this going to be like more Persona influence? No, it's fucking weird still. It's just as SMT as ever, actually, and I'm enjoying it. But I had to play, even though people like Apocalypse more, I had to play original SMT4 because Apocalypse is based on continuing the neutral ending. So it's like, oh, well, I can't, like, you know, I don't want to just jump into that if it's already based on, like, an ending of a game. I may as well play it.
Sure.
So, anyway. But yeah, SMT4 is neat. Also, really fun getting some Kazuma Kaneko designs. Like, I like Kazuma Kaneko's art. However, the other artist on that game is, I'm spacing on his first name, Nirasawa, but I always forget his first name. Yasushi Nirasawa. And Yasushi Nirasawa also does a lot of monsters I like in various other media, so it made me happy to find out he was doing art there. He's done things for Kamen Rider, he's done things for Devilman, he's done things for fucking Enemy Zero, if you know your Sega Saturn classics, by Kenji Eno, Kenji Eno, who made D as well. Deep Fear, other Saturn classic he did designs for. Not a very good game, but he did do the monster designs for it. And yeah, I just like Nirasawa as an artist. But anyway, yeah, he does some guest designs in the game, and it's pretty cool. And that's it.
Yes.
All right.
Well, folks, I can't pretend to be happy about it, but in the year 2025, there's something you need to keep in mind. The value of your existence is determined by corporate decisions. Do not forget who allows you to live. We will contact you again.
Jesus Christ. It's fucked up how many early, like, stage Armored Core lines tend to go kind of hard.
And just be fucking true.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.